What's going on? You're in the Beat Sessions. I'm your host, Mitchell Weary. Let's talk about Tank and the Bangas and this new album, Red Balloon, that was released on May 13th. This is the band's third studio album, and it follows their 2019 effort, Green Balloon. And this album will continue this week's trend of exploring new music from bands that I'm not familiar with, or in this case, kind of familiar with. I discovered Tank and the Bangas back in 2017, probably like a lot of you. I had a friend that insisted I watch this Tiny Desk performance, and I'm glad they did because, whew, they just go to work for 23 minutes on that thing. It's remarkable to watch. If you've never seen it, I will attach a link to that performance when I post this video, but especially watching Tank as a front woman, she's captivating. I mean, she is just exactly that, a tank. She's a force to be reckoned with. That type of performer that as soon as she steps up to the mic, she demands your attention and you just cannot turn away. And what I love about her is the way that her energy is so infectious with the audience, but also up on stage with the rest of her band. You can see the way the rest of the players are vibing off of her and just having fun performing. Their music really is playful to the point of almost kind of being childish. And I don't say that to be insulting. I don't think it's detrimental in any way. I think the band might be the first people to admit this about their music, but it plays out really well on their albums and in their live performance. And I think it makes for an interesting contrast too, because Tank as a lyricist is not the type to keep it light. She definitely is not shy about discussing social and political issues. She can be really serious, she can be sardonic or just flat out witty, and I like her range there. She really is a master of her craft in that regard. And as a singer, I mean, her voice has so much punch, and then she can rhyme incredibly well, and then I like when she's working with the spoken word element as well. And so again, just another one of the things to show off her range and how dynamic of a performer that she is. And it's truly what makes this band so special. There's a lot of really good front people out there, but there are very few that have the presence that she does. So I really admire this band for that reason. And really am kind of sad that they fell off for me the way that they did. I remember trying to find Think Tank, their first record. It was independently released, and I couldn't get a hold of it. And as time went by, this band sort of just drifted into my peripheral because I'm just not the type to watch those live performances on my computer. I'd rather just throw on a record. It's just my taste. And so by the time 2019 rolled around and Green Balloon came out, I'll just say that I wasn't having a great year that year and that new music was not my main focus. And so I missed it. And I'm really pleased that they have this new record out. It didn't take 6 years in between records, only 3 on this one. And I love the way that their music is capturing that New Orleans spirit, that contemporary feel that the bands like Galactic are working with, I think a Dumpsta Funk. And I love that all of these bands, soul and funk is what's really driving their sound. But depending on, the song, the album, or the outfit in particular, because I know Dumpsta Funk definitely will work with more of that blues and rock and roll feel. But, bands like Galactic and especially, bands like Tank and the Bangas working with more of that jazz feel. And Tank working in more of a hip hop element into their music, which I really think makes their sound unique and stand out from the other two bands. But it's that New Orleans energy. It's that respect and that veneration for the tradition that comes out of there with that jazz and with the blues, but also all the new sounds that, make for a very interesting melting pot. It's a fun city, and the music is a really big part of that. So I like the way that this record is just capturing that New Orleans feel. It really is very genuine and very unique for that reason. This thing, it's got some fun guest appearances. I'll spoil this one for you because it's listed on the tracking. But the intro is done by Wayne Brady, which is pretty cool. I like the way that this album kicks off, and then he goes right into Mr. Bluebell. That's your second track. It's got this light riff with minimal funk. It's got a gospel feel to it too. I like that influence in their music as well. Anxiety is your third track. It's got this sick psychedelic trap feel. I really like the hip hop element and the way it's incorporated into this element, or into this album, and into their sound entirely. It might be something that some of you like really hardcore jazz fans might be turned off a little bit by it. It just might not be your thing genre wise, but if you have an open mind and eclectic taste, I really think you'll dig the way that they're working that hip hop element into all of these other different genres and sounds. Oak Tree is your fourth song. I love the gospel intro on this thing. It's got this solid funky bass that kicks in, great breakbeat percussion. And then, Tank's rhyming on this is outstanding. And then there's these horns that kick in towards the back end of this song, and I really like the way that those come in. Great instrumentation, a nice feature on that song. Communion in My Cup, good guest appearance here. It's got this mellow funk, gospel, R&B feel. Jazz, this song is all over the place. A lot going on in this one. It's why I'm really liking it. Really like the solid vocal harmonies on this thing, and the walking bass riff on this song. It definitely makes it one of my favorites. Definitely find this to be a standout track. Who's in Charge is your sixth track. It's a very interesting track. It's got this psychedelic, mystical, but like just open vocal kicks in with this big minimal beat, and then this song is going to keep that contemporary psychedelic feel with a little bit of hip hop, showing off that dynamic again. Really dig this song. Why Try is your 7th track. Get a little intro from Questlove on this track. I think that's pretty cool there. Groovy soul feel on this song. I love the energy on this track. I love the percussion as well. It's got this thick rolling bass that's very jazzy, and just feeling Michael Jackson a lot on this particular track. No ID is going to be your 8th song. Kicks right in with this funky bass. A little bit of disco on this track. It's got this catchy light melody that really reminds me a lot of Chromeo. If you're familiar with Chromeo, definitely excited about some of the new stuff that he's working with on Blue to Tiger as well. We'll hopefully cover some of that here in the near future. Café de Monde is your 9th song. It's got this funky R&B element to it that carries into Easy Goes It, your 10th track. It's getting some of this spoken word stuff. Got this recitative vocal over a piano with this classic pop and jazz feel. Really a nice song. I like the change of pace. And just the different features of this record as far as the way they move in and out of the genres. Questlove comes in. You have that Wayne Brady spoken vocal. Part of this record kind of feels like a radio experience a little bit, so I like the way that plays out. And I think with all the different elements, that factors in and works really well for that reason too. Stolen Fruit is your 11th track. This is definitely my favorite though. Straight jazz feel in the opener, and then this kicks in with this smooth, soulful funk. Really like the way that instrumentation comes in on this song. Big is your 12th track. Another great guest appearance here. I'm not going to spoil any more of those for you. I'll let you be surprised by some of that stuff. It's quick hip hop track though. Really just like the urgency of this track. It just hits hard, leads right into Heavy, your 13th song. Love the build in this song. It's bass driven. It's got this minimal feel, and then it's got this jazz feel that fills out nicely when the instrumentation hits. You get your penultimate track, Jellyfish, which is a nice slow jam. It's got this great R&B feel, and then Where Do We All Go is your final track. It's got this uplifting jazz feel to it. Soulful Disney is one of the terms that they use to describe that kind of playfulness in their music. And this last track is showing that off. I don't really like the Disney thing because I don't really like Disney right now. But other than that, I will say the soulful is definitely there. The playfulness is there. This band is really fun. I really like their energy, their representation of the city that they're out of, and just the variety of sounds and lyrical content that they're working with, and the way that they make it all work. This album has great continuity. It's well produced, 15 tracks with 44-minute runtime. I will post a link so you can go to their site to buy this thing if you're not able to find it at your local record store, but we're definitely going to vinyl please this thing. Hope you enjoyed this record. Hope you find this review helpful. Please like this video, share it, subscribe to the channel, do all the things to help me blow this project up in 2022, and stay tuned throughout the week for more album reviews. We will see you next time on the Beat Sessions.